You're making it up for the stand right now for this trial, aren't you? After talking to your attorneys. And they can do that because he didn't just shut up.
Yeah, and there are other problems as well. Just while we're on the point, I mean, as I recall reading the police report, the person that those statements were allegedly made to didn't have his body camera on. Well, I hope they're right. He could have put anything in there. He could have, maybe Mr. Anthony winds up saying, yeah, I did make some statements, but that wasn't exactly what I said. I said, I did tell him about I was in fear. Maybe, who knows? He could have said other things. But when you start talking, that officer is going to write down what it is you said. Do you really want to risk 10, 20, maybe more years of your life? And here you're probably talking about more years of your life for 17.
Yeah, I think people don't understand. This boy is going to get his boots smoked, and it's going to be a normal thing. It's not going to be anything retributive. He's going to get the same sentence anybody would get for this, and that's getting sent up the river. You bring a knife to school, you stab a kid in the heart, and you kill him. And you're being charged as an adult, because in Texas, 17 is an adult. An adult brings a knife to school, stabs a kid in the heart, and kills them. There's no self-defense either. They're going to get into that in a minute.
18-year-old kid on the accuracy of what that police officer, who may not have his body camera.
How many likes we got?
Camera on, is going to write down in his report. You just put your life in that police officer's hand. So even if you did say exactly the best possible thing, ain't no guarantee that that officer is going to put it down in that police report accurately. Again, just shut up as a general piece of advice. I mean, I've only been doing this 31 years now. I've only been doing these kinds of cases for 31 years. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but you and I have seen more cases than we can possibly remember. When, together we've been sitting there saying, man, if this guy had just shut up. Yeah. Or the worst piece of evidence in the case came out of his own mouth. How many times have we said that? So we keep saying it. I think probably 99% of criminal defense lawyers agree with us. There's one or two around the edges that try to make some more specific advice. And then there are other non-criminal defense lawyers, right? Police officers, use of force experts, different commentators who don't do these kinds of cases, who like to offer different kinds of advice.
Even huge associations like the NRA is telling its members, just tell the cops you were in fear for your life. As you mentioned, he's 17 years old. Parents should learn from this. Parents across the country should learn from this. Sit down with your kids. Explain to them what an interaction with the police looks like and tell them not to talk to the police, especially if they're minors. There's special rules in all jurisdictions in the United States that extra precautions need to be taken when cops are dealing with minors. They should ask to talk to you, and they don't want to make any statements until they speak to a lawyer. So sit down with your kids and have this conversation before they're in this situation.
And by the way, this is what police officers tell their kids as well. They tell their own kids to just shut up. This is what police officers tell other police officers after shootings. Just shut up, at least until you have to deal with that internal affairs interview. And so, look, good police officers recognize and respect an invocation of the right to remain silent. And while we're on the topic, it's always good to say I want my lawyer present as well, because, if you don't mention the magic word lawyer or attorney, generally speaking, the police officers can continue to ask you questions. But if you mention the magic word in an unequivocal kind of a way, I want my lawyer, not farting around with, do I need a lawyer? I think I might need a lawyer. No, you got to say, I want my lawyer before I answer any questions. Then the rules are they don't get to ask any more questions. And if they do, and even if you do answer, you've now given a good argument to your defense attorney to suppress that statement. That's at right. Least in the case in chief. Best case, again, just shut up.
Yes, and notably with this particular case, he wasn't arrested at that point, so he wasn't in custody. He wasn't being interrogated in custody. That's when the Miranda warnings are triggered. That's when your Fifth Amendment rights kind of turn on at that point. So because he wasn't arrested and undergoing a custodial interrogation, and because he was kind of vomiting out these statements sporadically, all that stuff is going to come into
It's
evidence.
all coming in. It's all going to hurt them.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about a couple really important general principles of self-defense that people need to understand, right? Because I keep seeing people talk about, well, you know, Metcalf touched Anthony first. Don't you have a right to defend yourself in this country? Doesn't every Texan have a right to defend themselves? We should really differentiate ordinary physical force and deadly physical force and talk about the requirements to use either.